Yes.
Thank you. At this time, your counsel has advised me that you would waive a formal reading of
Yes.
the information. Is that correct, Mr. Pryor? Thank you. At this time,
It is correct,
your
Judge.
counsel has advised me
At
that
this
you
time,
would waive
court
a
will
formal
summarize
counsel has
charges
advised
from
me
the
that you would
information
waive a
as
formal
described by
reading
statute.
of
This time,
the
it is
information.
correct,
Your
Judge.
counsel has advised me
At
that
this
this
time,
time, your counsel has advised of destruction, alteration, or concealment of evidence, a felony under Idaho Code 182603. That charge carries a punishment of up to 5 years in prison and a fine of up to $10,000. Mr. Daybell, do you understand that charge and the possible maximum penalties?
Yes.
Count 2, Mr. Daybell charges conspiracy to commit destruction, alteration, or concealment of evidence. That's a felony under Idaho Code 182603 and also Idaho Code 181701. That charge also carries a punishment of up to 5 years in prison and a fine of up to $10,000. Do you understand count 2, the charge and the possible penalties?
Yes.
Count 3 is contained in the information charges destruction, alteration, or concealment of evidence, a felony under Idaho Code 182603. That charge also carries a punishment of up to 5 years in prison and a fine of up to $10,000. Do you understand the charge in count 3 and the possible penalties?
Yes.
And finally, count 4 charges conspiracy to commit destruction, alteration, or concealment of evidence. That's a felony under Idaho Code 182603 and 181701, and it also carries a punishment of up to 5 years in prison and a fine of up to $10,000. Do you understand that charge and those possible penalties?
Yes.
And I'll also explain to you, Mr. Daybell, those charges or the possible penalties in each count could run either consecutively, meaning together, or they could be ordered to be served concurrently. Concurrently would be running together, and consecutively, meaning one would have to be served after the other was completed. At this time, Mr. Pryor, is Mr. Daybell ready to enter his plea? Or do you need any additional time to discuss this with Mr. Daybell?
Judge, at this time, we are prepared to go forward for the entry of a plea. Mr. Daybell, on behalf of Mr. Daybell, we will enter a plea of not guilty to all of the charges and obviously request a pretrial and a jury trial, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Mr. Pryor, the not guilty pleas will be entered as to counts 1, 2, 3, and 4 in the information. With that then, counsel, let's discuss a time for setting of a trial in this case. We did have a brief discussion prior to the hearing. There was a suggestion that we look at January for a date for trial. Mr. Wood, how many days of trial would the state be requesting in this matter?
Your Honor, I think we should probably plan on, as we've discussed, about 3 weeks for this trial.
Mr. Pryor, your thoughts from the defense on how many days we'd need for trial?
Judge, as we previously discussed, I anticipate at least 3 weeks will be needed in this matter.
We could schedule trial to commence on January 11th through January 29th.
That's acceptable to the defense, Your Honor.
And that works for the state.
There is one federal holiday during that time period on the 18th. So that would have you losing 1 day. Is that still sufficient time, do you think, Mr. Wood?
I think that would work, Your Honor. I think we can figure that out.
All right. Any concerns with that, Mr. Pryor?
No concerns, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right. We'll set the trial then to commence Monday, January 11th. Council will intend to conduct full trial days. I won't be having any other hearings scheduled during the time of the trial. Just for planning purposes, we typically will run a trial to start every day at 9 o'clock and go until 5 o'clock with a lunch break. Let's schedule a pretrial conference then. December 10th at 10:30 a.m.
Works for the defense, Your Honor. Thank you.
It's fine for the state.
All right, we'll send out the notice of trial setting. Mr. Wood, is there anything further from the state this morning on this matter?
No, not at this time. Thank you.
Very well. Mr. Pryor, anything further?
Not at this time. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, council will send that notice out, and if there is nothing else, then I appreciate your attendance and preparedness this morning, and we will be in recess.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.